everybody. How are you guys doing on today? I am super excited because we get to hang out today, guys, with award-winning author Selena Haskins. And guys, let me just tell you, it's a good one. It's a drop everything and read. It's a tell a friend to tell a friend. It's one of those books that just the nostalgia of it all of the 80s and 90s you would just absolutely love. And what am I talking about? I am talking about Cousins by Selena Haskins. Yes, check out that cover as well. So, Selena, thank you so much for accepting the invitation to hang out with me here at the cafe and to talk about this amazing book, which is series. We're gonna drop a little bit of tea in there because there's another book that's coming. But Selena, please, my friend, introduce yourself to the people.
All right. First, thank you so much for your patience, Angela, and thank you for having me on your show this evening. Shout out to everyone in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. Um, I'm Selena Haskins. I'm the author of Cousins that Angela was just talking about. Cousins, All We Got Is Us. This is my ninth novel, everyone, and I'm working on book number 10. So I have been in the literary business for quite some time. Yay! What a blessing that is. I write family saga, romance, historical fiction, and children's books. So I'm what you call a cross genre or multi genre author. I really don't get too caught up in titles. I kind of write whatever I'm feeling in the moment. So that's me. I got a little something for everybody.
I love that. I love that, Selena. And again, I am just super duper excited. It was one of those books where it was trending across social media. And in addition to reading like the blurb and oh my goodness, I was like, okay, I gotta get this book. Let me just one click and get this book. And then when I started reading it, I mean, Selena, when I started telling my friends, I was like, y'all, I found this book. It is called Cousins. Oh my goodness. Now, Selena, let me ask you a little bit, and you shared a little bit in your introduction, a little bit about your writing style. But one of the things that you mentioned, and we're going to get into Cousins in a minute and about how you wrote this book, because you got a little bit of YA in book one, and then book two is going to be a little bit more for the adults. But we're going to get into that in a little bit. But there's something that I saw where it said that, Selena, that you write ordinary women with fascinating stories. Tell us about that.
Well, I try to write in a way that the average woman can relate to it, the average person can relate to it. Because one of the things I don't like to do is write one dimensional type of characters because we're not built that way. We're very complex people. So I try to be very true to the personalities that we see on an everyday basis. And that to me is what makes the stories fascinating, to being able to relate to it despite it being fiction.
I love that. I love that. And Selena, they are giving you some love. We have Mama Tony of Mama Tony Book Nooks hanging out with us. We have Letitia Ballard hanging out with us. Dahlia hanging out with us. Tiff of Tiff's Happy Place hanging out with us as well. And of course, guys, you already know what to do. A like, tag, and share. Tell a friend to tell a friend that author Selena Haskins is hanging out with us on the cafe. And guys, we are talking about cousins. Okay, so Selena, you know I'm so here for a cover. Okay, and guys, once you read this book, I mean, the cover will just totally make sense. But tell us a little bit about this cover and what it was like for you when you saw your final imprint of what the cover was going to be for Cousins. All We Got Is Us.
It took a few tries to get to this particular point in the cover, because I try to envision in my mind when I'm writing, I always picture how the characters look to me. And the artist, we went back and forth quite a few times until I said, okay, this is it. This is
This
this
is
is
it.
great. Yeah, we went through some drafts, don't get me wrong.
Yes.
And it's funny you say that because they're saying, I get people sometimes in other interviews, they'll say, well, wait a minute, it's five cousins, so why aren't there five on a cousin? Then they go, uh oh. but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna give that away.
Right. I'm not. Look,
So
I ain't gonna spill that tea. Because I knew. Right. When you read it. But Selena, let me just tell you, this book is like amazing. I want everybody to read it. I mean, the whole nostalgia of growing up in the 80s and the 90s, it totally brought back memories, all of that good stuff. I don't know if that was your intention, but if it was, my friend, let me just tell you, you nailed it. I mean, you took a sister back. Okay. I
oh,
really
thank
love
you.
that. Now,
Thank
before
you,
we get
thank you.
into before we get into that whole nostalgia of the 80s and 90s, okay, my friend, tell us about this title. Cousins, all we got is us. Was this the original working title, my friend, or this title came about later?
I think the title was always Cousins,
Okay.
but the subtitle All We Got Is Us came a little bit later
Yeah.
because as the story comes together, like you said, not giving it away, but as it comes together, really that is all they had, because who else could they rely on? You know how
Yeah.
their parents were, you know how individuals and their families were. And although overall they were a close family, really all that's all they had was each other.
Them
Who else could
cousins.
understand them?
Listen, them cousins, okay? And guys, let me
Right.
tell you, when you read the story, you will definitely understand the bond that these cousins had, and you will definitely understand that statement. All we got is us, as well. Now, Selena, of course, we're gonna get into it a little bit, but I want for you to share with the readers on today what inspired cousins.
My family,
Okay.
we're very close. And also the nostalgia of the 80s and 90s itself.
Yeah.
Like that's the I was born in the 70s and my t-shirt made in the 70s.
Yeah.
Um but grew up in the 80s.
Yeah.
So and we had a time, honey. Man, we had a time. We had
Selena,
a
did
good
we not have
time.
a time in the 80s? Okay.
Man, we had a time. I'm telling you, watching Soul Train, watching cartoons in the morning, eating your
Okay.
Captain Crunch. We know what it's like to actually hang up on somebody and they hear the click, not
Look,
just end all calls now. I kind of miss that clicking sound to hang up on the
look,
rude
and
person. You know
Selena,
what I mean?
Selena, if your family was really fancy, I mean, y'all had the three-way. You had the three-way, and
Exactly.
you was fancy if you had three-way.
Man, look, we called that the party line in my
The
day.
party line.
So we had a time, man. We just did. It was just so fun, and that's what I tried to bring out in the book. Going roller skating, crystal skates was our spot here.
Okay.
Bowling. The music was better. The music was better. The TV shows. So the fashion, right? And
Oh
the
yeah.
fashion is
Yeah.
kind of recycling now,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it was just we had a good time. And so even though Cousins is a bit of a family mystery somewhat, I also wanted
Yeah.
to make it fun as well and
Okay.
be nostalgic for people. And
Well, I
shout
mean,
out to those joining us today real quick. Thank you, ladies.
yeah. And Selena, you did an excellent job of that. I mean, and one of the things I want to tap into a little bit is because at the beginning of the book, guys, if you haven't read it yet, there is a note from Selena, and she kind of explains how book one, which is Cousins, it's YA. But let me tell y'all, honey. This YA was YN. Selena, you had me on the edge of my seat. I was turning the pages. I enjoyed every bit of it. And then you also let us know, you said, well, hold tight. You was like, for the adults, book two, it's gonna be when these same cousins, when they are adulting, or what have you, because they
Mhm.
they have some adulting moments, in this book too. But what did you know going in that you was gonna set this series up that way? That book one was gonna be in their younger days, kind of set up in a YA format, and then the second book in this series was gonna be more of the adulting. Tell us a little bit about that and why you decided to do it that way.
Well, I didn't know initially, but I figured The only way to encapsulate a time period would be to have it in parts, to break it up. Initially, I was just going to have the characters flashing back, but the flashbacks became overwhelming. So I was just like,
Mm.
well, you're just going to have to start when they're young
Right.
and then
Right.
put all your nostalgic moments in there. And then you're going to have a part two.
Yeah.
So that was the only way that I could do that.
Well, Selena, let me just tell you, uh, we ready. For those who have read it, we ready. Look, we read. I mean, if you need a beta reader for part two, I'm gonna put my hand up because I am so excited about seeing part two, as well. But I want to ask you this. Okay, we got to get into the characters just a little bit, Selena.
Sure.
Um, Spill a little tea for us. What came first with Cousins or with the series? Was it these characters? Because child, they some characters. Was it the characters or was it the plot of it all? Because you did spill a little bit of tea earlier. You did let the people know there's a little bit of family mystery and secrecy going on there. But what came first, those characters or the plot?
The plot.
Ooh, chat.
Yeah,
Tell us a little
the
bit.
plot came first. And it was actually Irene Walker who spoke first. I had the vision of her story in my mind. And
Wow.
Irene Walker is Leslie's mother, who
Yes.
is mute.
Yes.
And people are going to find out why she's mute.
Woo,
And for some
chat.
reason, it was just talking to me. I was just typing it out as I was seeing it in my mind.
Wow.
And then the other cousins kind of came along actually, because initially, like I said, it was Irene and it was Leslie and it was Grandma Walker. And I really didn't know where to go from there, but the other cousins just kind of came along within the plot. So, or
Wow.
maybe somewhat of a combination of both. Who knows?
And having read the book and you letting us in that Irene came to you first. Wow. That's amazing to know that her character came first and then the other ones just kind of evolved around her as well. Guys, let me just tell you, if you are just joining us, I am hanging out with award-winning author Selena Haskins. Guys, we are talking about her latest release. It is called Cousins. Y'all, it's a dear. It is a drop everything and read. It is a tell a friend to tell a friend. And for some of those that I have talked to about this book already, you already know. I mean, Selena, I made some phone calls and some text messages. I was like, y'all, let me tell you about Cousins. I'm gonna need y'all to read
Oh
Cousins
my, thank you,
as,
thank
as
you,
well.
thank you.
So, guys, if you have a question or two
Appreciate it.
for Selena, I definitely put it in the comment section. And trust me, she's gonna give you a little snippet in just a little while. She's gonna give you a little snippet. But Selena, I want to talk about these characters a little bit, and you just shared a little bit about Irene's character, but I
Mhm.
definitely want to make sure that we talk about these cousins because if you grew up, with your cousins being almost like your brother cousin, your sister cousin, these cousins have that type of relationship, guys. They are close. They have a bond like no other, or what have you. And it's almost like y'all know how it was with your cousins. Like, you can talk about and pick on your cousins, but nobody else better not talk and pick on your cousins because you got their back, or what
Yeah.
have you. And I wanted for you to just share. I'm gonna say some of the names of the cousins, and I just want you to share,
Sure.
like, you can either describe them in about 5 words or more, or whatever comes to mind when you think of those individual characters. So of course, guys, these are the Walker cousins, okay? And you touched on Leslie. Let's start with her. What can you tell us about a Leslie character? And I just want you to know, Selena, there was moments where Leslie pulled at my heartstring, child. She pulled at my heartstring a little bit.
Oh, I'm happy to hear that. That means she came across as really
Yeah,
real,
woo,
somebody
child.
relatable. That's the goal. Leslie is a sweetheart, but she's troubled.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when you meet people like Leslie who has a problem with eating and weight, it's normally what's eating them. So
Mm,
her issues were very deep. It wasn't just
yeah.
that she was eating just because she was eating because there was a bigger problem in
There's
her
a bigger
world.
problem. Yeah.
And to some degree, Leslie was imprisoned too, like her mom, to some degree.
Selena, you better say
And
it.
within that prison, her escape was food.
Mhm.
So I don't want to give too much away, so I'll just
Look,
leave her there.
Selena, you spilled enough tea. You spilled enough tea to have them on the edge of their seats. And before we go to some of the other characters, Selena, I want to tell you one of the things that I also enjoyed about this is again with each one of the characters, I loved how you gave their backstory. And
Hmm.
what I mean by their backstory, like you put us in their like in their state of mind, you put us into like their thought process, you put us into like what it was like to live in their world. Because guys, let me tell you, she covered all the bases. I mean, you got the bougie cousins, you got the cousin that got money, you got the cousin that's living in the projects, you got the cousin that, you know, they got a whole lot going on with these particular characters, and the way that you wrote it, even when you know we ain't even talked about the aunties and the uncles,
Right. Exactly.
but
Exactly.
again, Selena, it's relatable. It's like it just again, I keep going back to that whole nostalgia of it all. Let's talk a little bit about Donovan, Lucy. Okay, now Lucy pulled it. Okay, let me just say, all the cousins had their moments of pulling at my heartstring, but Lucy, whoo, cha, Lucy. Tell us about Donovan.
Lucci. So it's Lucci,
It's
like
Lucy.
Gucci, but
Okay, Lucy.
Lucci.
Okay. Mhm.
So Lucci is the most complex character out of the Walker cousins
Mm,
because of his background, like you said,
yes.
having a mother with a drug problem,
Yeah.
and not only that, even before her addiction, she just never wanted him. So he experienced abandonment. And there are so many layers to Lucci
Yeah.
with him trying to figure out, okay, do I go left to the streets with my cousin Turk, or do I go right with my paternal family? And, who are kind of, more, how can I say this? A little bit more stable than his mother
Mhm.
side, of course. I
Almost
mean,
like
he was
tries to
struggling
save them, you know, like help keep him on a straight and narrow. Even though when he go back to his mom's house, it's a whole lot of, you know, whole lot.
a whole lot, a whole lot. Donovan experiences poverty, he experiences neglect, and he just goes through a lot,
Yeah.
and that's a challenge because for him, both families are on the far end of each spectrum.
Yeah. Yeah.
So where does he find that balance?
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens to him in part two.
Ooh, I'm
but
ready. I'm ready. Y'all, let me tell you. Okay, you got a little time. So you're gonna want to go ahead and read Cousins Book One as well. Mama Tony. Mama Tony. Ask Tiffany. I'm gonna need y'all to go ahead and get this book, Mama Tony, because I really want to have a conversation with y'all to see what you guys thought. I mean, Selena, we may have to do like a literary cafe book club where we come back and do a closed Zoom and talk to you, girl, because I need to talk to somebody about these characters.
no problem, no problem. It will be my honor. I'm very humbled by this. I'm so glad you guys enjoyed it. I really am.
Yes, yes.
So I'm happy to come back anytime.
Yes, let's talk a little bit about Nolan's character, Boogie, aka Boogie. What can you tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about his character?
Um, Nolan is, well, he feels like a black sheep in his immediate family.
Yeah.
He is struggling with his sexual identity,
Uh-huh.
and a lot of that has to do with the neglect of his father because his father is a police officer and there's a lot of bravado with him, and his brother is the opposite of him. He's a basketball star and he has a lot going on for himself, and Boogie is like, well, I like to dance. That's why he's called Boogie, just so people
Mhm.
know. And he's good at it.
He's good
So it's
at it.
kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like, what's wrong with that? So he and his father clash a lot. He's more closer to his mom. And
Uh-huh.
not so much because she's a lady, but it's because he's not getting um the same treatment that his father gives his older brother. So obviously he takes a leaning towards his mom, and then his other cousin, his sister cousin, Raven.
Yeah. But and we want you to talk about
So
Raven next when you finish.
okay. Yeah, but I like Boogie. I think that out of all the cousins, Boogie is the most honest as far as how he's feeling, whereas Leslie is more, she wants to spare your feelings,
Yeah.
even if it
Yeah.
means suppressing her own.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. But Boogie is more like, no, this is what it is. You know, call a duck a duck. If it walk like a
Okay.
duck, quack like a duck,
It's a
he's
duck.
going to give it to you straight. And you know, that's Boogie.
Yeah. And of course, I want you to tell us a little bit about Raven as well.
Raven is the diva among the cousins.
Now,
She is
listen.
the one who comes from money because her parents are attorneys, and she's Miss Bougie and a little on the dingy side. And that's where, Leslie and Boogie comes in and kind of help balance her out to say,
Yeah. Yeah.
hey, you sure you want to do that? To
Yeah.
help her kind of connect the dots, so to speak, and not just, look at the outer appearance of people, or
Mhm.
get caught up in materialism and stuff like that, but to help her to genuinely see people for who they are.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. And she's not there, obviously. She's a teenager.
Right. Right.
So, everything is about outward appearances and money and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, and
And
that's her.
and Selena, and of course, guys, I want you to read it. But I also loved how with Raven's character, guys, you'll see once you read the book. I'm not gonna go into all the details, but sometimes I'll just say this: money ain't everything.
Right,
Sometimes that child want. They want the deeper thing. They want the deeper side of you. I'll just say that. But Selena, I loved how you brought that out. And it,
mhm,
it, it took a moment for her to get that across to her parents. And I'm just gonna leave it at
right,
that because I don't want to spill too much tea. But I love how with each of their situations, there was some backstory that you shared with us. And again, I love the rawness of their feelings, and
right.
how you put it on the page, or what have you, as well. Look, okay, you gotta see this comment. She said, I wasn't sure about a YA book that I could relate, but honey, I gotta read what's going on now. Sharon Blunt, author Sharon Blunt. Yes,
Hi,
ma'am. You
Sharon.
got to one. You got to one click cousins, honey. Let me tell you. And then, like I said, when we all read it, we got to get back in contact with Selena and do some talking. I love it. And
Yeah,
LaShawn is saying she agree. It sounds good, y'all. I'm telling you, it's a YA, but honey, the YA is YN, and you will enjoy it, and you would definitely want to talk to others as well. Now, this is a good question. Ruby wants to know: is this book based on any of your family members per se? Mm.
very loosely, very loosely. I think the characters are more closely related to my friends that I've grown up with. And then as far as the dynamics of the cousins and their family, some of that is loosely based on my own. When um when we talked about some of the aunties and uncles and the grandmother, um for example, with the grandmother, my real cousins and I are used to hanging out at grandma's house,
At
and maybe
grandma's
you
house.
guys did too. So
Yes.
that's something that we all did. Even if, I had cousins that I grew up in DC, and Maryland is only like a 20-minute ride, if that, from DC. And those cousins would even come to DC to visit grandma, and we would play and hang out and do all those things. So that's what I meant by loosely based. some of the activities and things that we did were based on what my cousins and I did. But the personalities are more make believe. Some they have some of my real life friends that I grew up with personalities. So
Mhm.
I always tread lightly when it comes to that because I don't want people to say, "Are you talking about so and so? Are you talking about this person?" And
Right.
so I don't want no lawsuits.
Look, Celine,
So
let's
I
just
have to
say
make
you
it my
take one character, you add a whole bunch of people to create that we'll say that.
exactly,
I
exactly.
love
I
it.
take
I
a
love
little
it.
bit from each person and put it into one character. Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Guys, if you are just joining us, let me just y'all probably see how excited I am. Okay. I am talking with author Selena Haskins on today, guys. Her hot off the press release is called Cousins. It is available in ebook and print. We will be sharing with you in just a bit how you can get your hands on a copy of it. As you can see, I have the e version. Selena is holding up the paperback version of this amazing story as well. And so we will be sharing with you. I know y'all ready. I'm gonna ask Selena one more question and then I'm gonna let her set the scene because Selena, we got these people on the edge of their seat. They just want their little snippet. They want their snippet about it. But I want to ask you this, Selena. One of the things that I read about you is that you invite your readers to experience life's extraordinary moments, and you definitely do that in this book through the lens of your imagination. Tell us about that, my friend.
Well, when I'm writing, it's like a movie inside my head, right?
Uh-huh.
I want to put you guys in the story so you can't put it down. I want you
Ooh,
to see
child,
what
you
I
did that.
see. I want you to experience all your five senses: see, taste, smell, everything. And so that's going to you become my lens too. I want to
Mm,
put you there in the story so you can
wow,
really feel every emotion. You can be in a setting, envision wherever they are. I go deep. And if it
wow,
means like, I believe hard writing makes good reading, right? So this book was 3 years in the making.
wow.
So not to say it would take that long for part two. It's just some dynamics that I had going on personally that took it a little longer. But I take my time because I want to give my readers the best.
Mm-hmm.
If I
Mm-hmm.
can't give you my best, then I'm going to hold off until I can. And I really pour my heart into everything that I write. I do.
Wow. Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that. And guys, we're talking about Cousins, and it is definitely one of those books, Selena, that it is a book of all the feels. I mean, you go through it's like an emotional roller coaster in a good way. But you everything that these characters are feeling and experiencing, you feel it and you experience them with them again. So I can definitely say that this is a book of all the feels as well. And author Sharon Blunt, she's saying she appreciate authors like that, Selena, that that you want to give 100%, you want to give your best, and if it's not that, then you will hold off before putting it out until you can give 100% and your best in your writing as well. Well, guys, I know you're ready. Okay, I'm not gonna prolong it anymore because I know that you are
Thank you,
ready.
Sharon, too.
Selena, I'm going to allow you to set the tone, set the stage. Tell us a little bit about what you're getting ready to read for us for your short snippet of Cousins. All we got is us.
All right. So, Cousins, the Walker Cousins, part one. This is Leslie, and you can also read a sample of this on Amazon. So, chapter one, Silent Summer, 1986, Leslie Walker. My mother was mute. She wasn't born that way. She was raped. My grandmother, Beulah May Walker, told me Mama stopped talking shortly after that. She said Mama's mind went someplace else and never came back. As for my father, who I asked about when I was 5, Grandma had told me his name was Percy Knight. She said Percy was a monster, but assured me he was never coming back. I found comfort in knowing that grandma will always protect me, but she couldn't stop the mean girls at school who had teased me for being fat and said mama was a spook. Whenever mama would look out her bedroom window as the children walked to and from school, they would point and laugh and call mama a window witch. By the time I was 7, I learned to braid mama's hair like I had done with my dolls. I had hoped this would stop the children from teasing her, but they continued since wasn't anything I could do to stop her ghostly stare. Don't you worry about those children at school. Your mother's eyes are a window to her soul, and you will be able to tell how she feels, Grandma would say. And over the years, I learned that when Mama was happy, her eyes would light up. And when she was sad, they appeared cloudy and distant. By the time I was 12, Grandma taught me how to sew and cook for Mama. Although Mama could do some things on her own, we never knew when her mind would travel someplace else, especially when dealing with appliances. She had left the pot on the stove and it burned. And another time she had placed her curling iron in the kitchen sink. Thankfully, there wasn't any dishwater in the sink. We always had to stay alert when it came to Mama, even though she expressed herself in an unusual way. Yesterday, she was clapping her hands and smiling for no apparent reason. I called Grandma upstairs to her room. I had never seen Mama behave that way. What is it, Irene? You can tell us. Grandma had stroked Mama's hand. I hoped Mama would finally talk. Instead, we watched in disappointment as her eyes turned into a shadow of teary eyed gloom and she retreated to her bed. Curiously, I looked out her window to see what she may have been excited about, and all I saw were a group of pigeons eating the old bread that Grandma had tossed out to them. Maybe whatever Mama saw was in her mind. I have a shell for a mother, and I can't seem to peel off the layers of her pain to see if she has a heart inside that can love me just a little bit.
Whew, y'all, did I not tell you that this is a story, cousins of all the feels? Selena, thank you so much for sharing that snippet. Guys, there is more. That's just the very beginning. Dahlia said it sounds interesting. Dahlia, let me tell you, it is interesting and it gets gooder and gooder. Y'all know what they say when it gets gooder and gooder. I love it. Letitia said that is so powerful. They said it sounds emotional. Yes, there are some emotional moments
It
in
is.
this story as well. But again, the way that I want to let you guys know this, there are some emotional moments in there, but Selena does an excellent job of having balance because there are also some moments where you laugh out loud. There are also some nostalgia moments of the 80s and 90s where you are like, oh my goodness, Selena is taking me back. Like when they did the homemade Soul Train line. I love
Yeah.
that, and the family dinner, especially around the holidays and all that stuff as well. So, guys, Selena has just shared a snippet. We will have a giveaway, but of course, Selena, we have to play a round of this or that, my friend. And I promise you that there is no right or wrong answer. It is all things according to you. Are you ready, my friend?
I'm ready. Let's get it.
Okay, Selena, we're gonna do a little summer edition because it's hot. It's hot in the Carolinas. I'm sure it's
Man,
hot in the DC area too.
for sure. Yes.
Okay. All right. First up, popsicle or ice cream?
Ice cream.
Okay. Flip flops or sandals?
Sandals.
Okay. Sunglasses or straw hat?
Sunglasses.
Okay. Okay. Now, see, I'm from down south, so I want to say sweet tea or lemonade. I'll just say iced tea or lemonade.
Iced tea.
Okay. Road trip or airplane?
Airplane. I'm done with road trips.
Selena, you
Anything
know
longer
that
than
was
2 hours,
an
I'm getting on a
airplane.
plane. Yes.
And Selena, when we take this trip, are you going to the beach or are you going to the mountains, my friend?
To the beach. I love the water.
I love that. I love it. Thank you so much for playing a round of this or that with us, Selena, as well. And guys, there is a giveaway. I'm going to allow Selena to share with you what her giveaway is going to be on this evening.
Well, none other than what we discussed. Cousins, all we got is us, is yours in this giveaway,
All
and I
right.
will sign it to a winner.
I love that. And Selena, I'm going to get your help, my friend. I'm going to go
Okay.
up and down the comment section, and you're going to tell me when to stop. And that person will be the winner of a copy of an autographed copy of Cousins. Okay, Selena, I'm ready when you are, my friend.
All right. So, how do I go to the comments? Hit the chat
You just tell
button.
me when to stop. Yep, you just tell me when to stop. I'm going
Tell
through
you
them
when to
now.
stop. Oh,
Uh-huh.
okay. Are you reading off names or you just
Yep.
scrolling?
Yes, I'm gonna actually stop when you tell me, and then I'll put the name on the screen.
Okay. All right. Let me know and then I'll say when.
Okay, I'm ready when you are.
All right. Stop.
Okay, stop now. Okay.
Yep.
Letitia Ballard, you are the winner, my friend. If you will inbox me
Yep.
your information, I'll be sure to get that over to Selena so you can get your autograph copy of Cousins as well. And of course, guys, I know y'all ready for Selena to share with us how you can get your hands on a copy, and she's going to do that in just a bit. But Selena, I want for you to share with us, what does Selena enjoy about writing Cousins and bringing this book to life?
Oh man, I enjoyed the whole nostalgia of going back in time, the research of fact checking, like was that
Yes.
85 or 86 or was it 87?
Yeah.
Oh man, I love the whole culture of it, especially the pop culture of it. From the music to the movies, the TV shows, watching Give
Yes.
Me a Break. Oh
Yes.
my goodness. I just, for me, it was very nostalgic and it felt great reminiscing. And it also felt good to really dig deep into these characters and to see how the plot all came together. And this having this discussion today just makes me super excited to keep going at part 2. I'm not trying to hold people forever. I don't want you to forget about part 1. You know, like how you watch a TV series, you're like, when is season 2? I don't want you to be like that. So, but
I
yeah,
love
I
that.
really enjoyed this one. Yep.
I love it. Now, Selena, can you spill a little bit of tea? Do you have a title, or you what can you spill about part 2? Can you spill a little tea?
Part 2 is cousins, family over everything. You know, they say
Oh,
faux family over everything. And
yeah.
let me see if I can show you something. I might even show you the cover.
Woo, child, look at us at the cafe getting a little bit of tea. And I like that
You might
cover
get a
as
little bit of
well.
tea.
Cousins, family over everything. Because guys, once you read part 1, that title of part 2 will definitely make sense. So woo, okay. See, Selena done spilled some tea. She done gave us a cover review. See, y'all, you never know what you might get
You
here at the
never
cafe.
know.
Selena, thank you for sharing a little bit of the title and sharing that cover of part 2 as well. And Ruby had a great question. She wanted to know how many books will be in this series. Are you able to share that, T? You see, we pulling, Selena. We pulling.
This will be it. This will be it. Just
So it'll be
one
a
more
two,
part.
two book. Okay,
Yeah.
guys, it'll be a 2 book series as well. Well, Selena, it has been amazing, my friend, hanging out with you, talking about your new book, Cousins. Guys, like I said, you are definitely in for a treat, and I know they are ready to hear. Selena, please share with our readers, how can they get their hands on a copy of Cousins, which is available, guys, in ebook and print?
Absolutely. Cousins is available on Amazon as well as Barnes and Noble. And then you can also, if you're interested in a signed copy, you can email me directly at booksbyselena@gmail.com. And if you're in the DC area, I am going to be at Barnes and Noble this Saturday between 12 and 2 in Bowie, Maryland. So come on out, and I'll have some of my other titles with me as well. If you got kids, I'll have a couple of children's books too. So that's how you can lay your hands on a copy. And be sure to visit my new website, booksbyselena.com. cousins.com and sign up so you can keep up with the latest events and so you know when Cousins Part 2 comes out.
I love that. And I was just about to ask her too, how can we stay connected, guys? She has a new website. It's called booksbyselena.com. Definitely go to her website, sign up for her newsletter, guys. And on her website, you can see her backlist as well. And you can get some of her backlist and read those books while we're waiting
Mhm.
for Cousins Part 2 to come out as well. And of course, you can stay connected with her. She's also on social media. So, guys, follow her on Instagram. She's on Facebook. Definitely stay connected with her as well. And Selena, I want to, if you can answer, Mama Tony wanted to know what is some of your children's titles, or what is your children's title?
Sure, Tony. She Can Hoop is one of the titles that was featured on ABC News 4. She Can Dance. And also, I'm working on a third children's book as we speak called Do You Know the Fruits of God's Spirit? So it'll help. That's more for my younger ones between 4 and 7 years old. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And thank you for sharing your children's titles with us as well. Guys, it has been amazing hanging out with author Selena Haskins on today. The time goes by so fast
It
as we
does.
talk about her new release, Cousins. All We Got Is Us. Guys, again, I cannot say it enough. It is a tell a friend to tell a friend. And I mean, hey, do a buddy read. Get somebody and read this book because you're going to want to share some things with them as well. And so, Selena, before we go, I want to allow you, my friends, to have the last words of what you want to say to the people.
Oh, thank you so much. And again, it's been my pleasure being here with you this evening and all of your guests today. So I have to say thank you. Um, I can't stress enough that I think reading is important, especially in this world of social media. I know that's how we find out about books, but I do want to encourage reading, especially for your young ones. Cousins is YA, and the next one will be for adult readers, maybe kind of new adult. But I do often want to encourage reading. I'm a literacy advocate, and I think a lot of young people need to know how to read and write. It's so important to educate yourselves. Leslie, the main character, was a writer and she was a reader. And giving
Yeah.
these young people something to do with their minds besides play video games and all of that, just really encourage them to read. Let them pick their own book, and then they may enjoy it more. So that's my final say. Reading is fundamental and it will educate our young ones.
I love that, and thank you for sharing that and being an advocate for reading. I know a lot of us that follow me. When people ask, when did you fall in love with reading, or when did you start reading? A lot of us, it was from when we were little. It was from elementary
Yes,
school or even before that. That you've always just had that joy on the inside of reading or what have you. So thank you for being an advocate of that as well. Guys, that is our show on today. It has been amazing hanging out with author Selena Haskins. Her new one, as she stated, it is available in ebook, it's available in print, or what have you. We will be putting in the comment sections how you can get a copy of it. And of course, guys, once you read it, not only tell a friend to tell a friend, but definitely leave author Selena Haskins a review. I know that she would be so appreciative of you leaving a review as well. And of course, once you get your copy, feel free to take a picture and tag her of that as well. Selena, it has been awesome hanging out with you. Congratulations on the release of
thank
Cousin.
you.
Look, we are looking forward to part 2 of Cousins as well. Of course, guys, to stay connected with me, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Angela Anderson's YouTube. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram, Angela Anderson Presents as well. And again, guys, I just want you guys to have an amazing night on tonight, and definitely run, not walk, but run and get you a copy of Cousins. And of course, as we always say, have an amazing day, because we're having an amazing day. And until next time, guys, we'll see you later.
Take care, guys. Have a good evening. Thank you, Angela.
You're so welcome. Bye, guys.